The shelling of the railway station in Kramatorsk, the shopping center in Kremenchuk, the bombing of the center of Chernihiv, and the maternity hospital in Mariupol, the deportation of Ukrainian children to Russia, and the detention of the entire village in the basement of a school in Yahidne, the persecution of people and detention centers in the Kherson and Kharkiv regions, the occupation of Chernobyl, and the hospital in Mykolayiv. This is only a small part of the crimes committed by the Kremlin's army in Ukraine.
It was such a horror. 350 people were closed in the basement. Each one had 60 square centimeters. You could sit on a chair and that's it. I call it the basement of death. There was no air. Those who were weaker went mad and suffocated first. These were local residents. It was such a horror that a normal person would not even dream of. Fear of death. 27 days we were there, and every day we were sure that we were going to die, like suicide bombers. On March 3rd, 2022, there was an airstrike in the city center. In the neighborhood, 6 bombs were dropped from a plane. A bomb fell under the balcony of my flat. My children now survived by a miracle. At that time, what happened to us was a shock. But I want to speak on behalf of the residents of our neighborhood, of the house. There are many dead, many injured, many people lost their homes like me. We really want those who did it to be punished, because it is not just a physical pain. The loss of home that happened will be in my mind now forever.
The book of reports was written by journalists from the Reckoning Project, an initiative of Ukrainian and international media professionals, analysts and lawyers to document war crimes.
We see our role as a journalist and researcher in helping survivors to communicate with those who investigate these crimes.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine was the biggest crime against humanity in Europe since the Second World War. That is why today the international community faces the main task of bringing the aggressor to justice. Since the first month of the de-occupation of Ukrainian territories, Ukrainian law enforcers have been working closely with the International Criminal Court to investigate international crimes committed by the Russian army.
Punishment for those who did it. The whole system works for that. Those who committed these crimes against dignity, against humanity, but also the punishment of those who gave the orders to do it, who saw what happened but turned away.
During an online meeting with the Dutch university community, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the format of the Special International Tribunal on the crimes of Russia's aggression against Ukraine is not that important. The main thing is the result.
The way you name it doesn't matter. The main thing is the result, and that is what's truly important. It is a difficult mission. In order to convict for the original crime, the crime of aggression, we need to have unity. We need it very much. But it is difficult for leaders of different states of the world to support a tribunal that will condemn the leaders of another state, even if it has gone to war against the freedom and people of another state.
For his part, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said that the G7 group stands firmly on the position of setting up a tribunal based on Ukrainian legislation. At the same time, the Ukrainian authorities insist on setting up an international court similar to the Nuremberg Tribunal after the Second World War. The government also insists on the return of Russian assets to Ukraine to help rebuild the country. Since Moscow's full-scale invasion, the US and European sanctions have frozen about 300 billion euros of foreign currency reserves of the Central Bank of Russia around the world.
A year and a half later, I'm still hearing from Europe and America we are working on it. There is not enough will to reach the logical conclusion. That's why we have to change it. Dmytro Kuleba, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, from a comment for Дзеркало Тижня publication.
On September 13th, the European Parliament recognized self-proclaimed Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko as an accomplice in Russia's war against Ukraine. In particular, it refers to the complicity of the Belarusian government in the deportation of Ukrainian children. The European Parliament demanded the International Criminal Court to consider issuing an international arrest warrant for Lukashenko. Reported by Roman Smoler, Yulia Granovska, UA TV News.